Summerslam 2003. We got an elimination chamber in the main event. We got big hairy nipples being pulled. We got street fights, no DQ matches, no holds barred. So overall, we have some matches that are unsanctioned. Big red machines that are unmasked. And we got one podcast host that's uncut. Which one is it? Well, you'll have to tune in and find out right here on the Apron Bump Podcast.
It's the hardest. Talk around and disregard it. Strip you off the ground, show you what heart is. Standing strong and proud, nothing can knock this. Let's get it started.
Oh, what's up, everybody? How's everybody doing today, huh? Little WrestleMania jitters inhibiting our cockles this morning, huh? Or afternoon or evening, whenever you're listening to me. Who's hyped for WrestleMania Extra Large, huh? Philadelphia, about to witness a all-timer WrestleMania, if I had to guess. Gee willikers, you got all the stories, all the matches, 2 nights. I mean, no better time to dig into A-Train and the McMahons, because we got Vince McMahon is involved in the WWE title match. Stephanie and Sable are still scissoring or whatever. Linda McMahon's getting pile driven. Oh yeah, by both Kane and Eric Bischoff. You know, depending on what your definition of pile driven is. So, lots of sexual assault on this show. We got, but some good wrestling somewhere in there. We got. Honestly, like some of the 2003 SummerSlam, and I think we talk about this on the podcast. It's like you never really think about this one when people think of like best SummerSlams of all time. You think 2002, you might even go back to 92. You might even go back to like recent years, perhaps, tractors and etc. But 2003, at least from what I've seen, never really comes up. But you watch the show. And it's a dandy little program. We got Kurt Angle versus Brock Lesnar for the WWE Championship. I mean, an all-timer. I forgot how good this match was. We got, a really great fatal 4-way for the US title. We got, A-Train and Undertaker, which is a sight to see. What else is here? There's Frenchman here. There's Shane McMahon versus Eric Bischoff, which... You see that on paper, you're like, well, this is just going to be 5 flavors of terrible. But it was very entertaining. We gush over Shane McMahon a lot in this episode. And of course, the chamber match in the main event, which is what I think about when I think of this show, and probably what you think of. Goldberg getting screwed out of the world title, but on the way there, it's actually a pretty interesting match. I've talked a lot on this podcast about how Goldberg's run in 2003 was just it's been worse than I remember so far. However, I think this kind of took a turn after Bad Blood, which was the last time we touched on Raw in 2003. Because I don't even think he was on that card, and he was just he might have had just a random match with Jericho, and the stuff with The Rock was awful. His debut wasn't that great. But they've really kind of found a groove with Goldberg here, late summer 2003. He's been squashing guys on Raw. I posted a clip of him answering the White Boy Challenge, which was Rodney Mack's open challenge deal, and he just fucking destroyed him. And, went on to have a few more matches like that on Raw. And this Elimination Chamber match might as well just be the Goldberg kills everybody match, because that's what it was. Made him look like a monster. And speaking of monsters, Kane is here, which, again, we haven't touched on Raw since the Bad Blood event. After that event, shortly after it, we saw the unmasking of Kane. And, I've posted about this on social media. I think it's probably one of the most effective character shifts to ever happen. I mean, and again, we talk a lot about this on the podcast. I'll try not to duplicate too much, but just... the presentation of Kane is second to none here, and I think he's probably the best thing in the entire company, arguably. Definitely the best thing on Raw. SmackDown has a lot of good stuff going on, but again, we'll get into it. But that's right. That's what we got coming up here. SummerSlam 2003. You might be asking yourself, hey, hardest part of the ring. It's SummerSlam. Why are you wearing a Bash at the Beach shirt? Well, my answer to that would be, why don't you mind your fucking business? But we have a great show today, and we got my baddie. He is a baddie, actually. We got my buddy Joey from The Angle podcast returning to the show. It's been too long since I've had Joey, not Samoa, on this show, so always a pleasure with JoJo Siwa. Go check out Joey wherever. Wherever. You can just find him wherever. He's on TikTok. He's on YouTube. He's a great follow on social media. I think he's kind of taken a step back from the podcast element of it, but he has a lot of good interviews in his archives. So find that wherever you listen to podcasts, as well as YouTube. I'll put all of his stuff in the description below. He's a big mover and shaker, this Joseph. Great follow on TikTok, like I said. And just a handsome fella. Just a guy you just want to go over and kiss him on the cheek and maybe get your chest hair tangled a little bit. He's just one of those guys. But yeah, do that. And hey, why don't you follow me as well at Apron Bump on all the social medias. Been really big into TikTok and YouTube recently. Been putting out some unique content there. Unique in relation to, it's not just the podcast. I'm putting out YouTube exclusive stuff and a lot of clips and stuff on TikTok. So make sure to go follow me on those platforms. That's probably where I'm the most active nowadays outside of X. What else? Join the Discord as well. Link is also in the show notes. We'll be starting a pay-per-view predictions league here after WrestleMania. So make sure you get on board for that. What else? What else am I plugging? Hey, if you like this era of wrestling, you like 2003, 2002, you like the Ruthless Aggression era, well, I suggest to you, go to apronbump.com and go to the events, or not the events, the episodes tab. It'd help if I knew my own website. Go to the episodes tab and you could select Ruthless Aggression era. And that'll bring you to all of the chronological reviews I've done, starting from, I started from the beginning of 01 and I've done everything up until now. So you get the tail end of the Attitude era into Ruthless Aggression era, and it's been a fun journey watching that transition. So, and that I'll leave a link in the show notes as well. Oh, what else? Hey, but just one more thing, since it is, as of recording this, WrestleMania season. We're approaching WrestleMania 40, just a few days after this episode drops. So if you want my thoughts on WrestleMania, you can do one of two things. I think you should do both. One, next week, I'll be doing a review of the show in totality. Nothing, we're not going to get in the weeds. Probably going to just be a hangout talking about the show. So that'll be coming next week. But I also plan on doing some sort of predictions thing. I'm thinking maybe streaming live on TikTok, perhaps. We'll give that a swing. And maybe, try to multi-stream to YouTube and Twitch. So just make sure to follow me on Twitter, X. That's probably where you'll see my updates and any announcements in regards to that. Or follow the Discord. Do that. So I'm done yapping. I think I've just babbled. I'm Kyle Babbler, you should call me, right? I don't know why you would. Yeah. So with that, WWE SummerSlam 2003 with myself and Joey from The Angle. I think we're good. I think we might be Gucci.
No echo? Nothing?
No. I can hear your beautiful voice just as it's in my ear, as if your lips were on my earbuds, which is what I want.
That's how I like it.
Your buds, your lobes, both. Yeah,
all the buds. Yeah. All the buds. Speaking
of buds, we got a couple buds on this show. SummerSlam 03, man. So you said this year is kind of like your go-to for wrestling?
Yeah, I don't know why. I think just because it was like a monumental year for me, like in my real life. That I relied on wrestling as a kid at that point. So everything is just like, I remember the days I bought the DVDs. I remember watching it on pay-per-view, like all that crap. is like embedded in my head.
Yeah, I think at this point, because I think we're like relatively the same age. I know I was recording pay-per-views at this point on VHS, and then I would just like watch them over and over. Like there were a few points in this show, it was like, oh, that was like branded into my brain, just the way certain people said things and certain spots that happened.
Yep.
But there are also some things in this show I didn't really remember at all. But overall, I thought it was a pretty damn good SummerSlam. What did you think about it?
Honestly, for the most part, I loved it. The ending threw me off.
Yeah.
But I loved, if you look back at it now, I love it even more now just because of the names that were on that pay-per-view.
Hall of Famers all the way through.
Yeah, like from start to finish.
Savon Grenier, I mean,
great heels.
Yeah. It's probably only Benoit's probably not a Hall of Famer, but you know, that's a different thing.
What did The Rock call them? He called them popcorn farts. I'll never forget that.
Oh, Coach. Yeah, we get it's a big it's a big Coach show today, which I know everybody's been wanting. So
yeah.
But yeah, overall, man, I mean, 2003, we're still, you know, it's not quite SmackDown 6 because a lot of those guys are injured at this point, but there's still a ton of talent. Raw kind of sucks at this point outside of Kane and everything he's doing.
Yeah.
But I guess we'll get into it. But SmackDown is just SmackDown. It's one of those things you either love it or you hate it because the McMahons are all over it. But there's also a lot of really good wrestlers, including the main event stuff, which we'll obviously get into. But yeah, I think the show capitalized on all the storylines that were going on at this point, and I thought it was an easy watch. You know, watching it back this morning when I did. So
yeah.
What do you think about the color scheme here of SummerSlam? Because this is what I grew up with, and this is still kind of what I associate SummerSlam with. Like, do you miss this logo, like the green and blue?
Yes. For me, my favorite. So SummerSlam is actually like my favorite pay-per-view out of the whole year. And I think my favorite one of all time is 02, Rock and Brock. That whole pay-per-view start to finish was just brilliance. So that logo, those colors, the theme song, it should have just carried over year by year by year. I don't know why they switched it. Now they got they were using the Nashville one or whatever they were last year.
Yeah. That one I didn't mind because it at least fit the where they were. But there are a couple years there where SummerSlam was just like another pay-per-view. They had generic logo, generic set.
Star.
Yeah, and like even the matches didn't feel like SummerSlam. I don't know. They lost their way a little bit with SummerSlam, but it's good to see it coming back to being like a stadium show now. So
yeah.
But they were here. Where were they here? Do you remember? I forgot to look this up.
I don't remember. Let me see. I have the stuff pulled up here. Let me see if it tells me.
This is crucial information because the crowd was pretty hot, so I want to give them their props. The Footprint Center in. Why don't you give me a city?
Footprint.
Phoenix, Arizona. So it was a hot crowd. Do you get it? It's hot. It's Arizona. We're having fun.
That's another thing I missed, by the way. SummerSlam should be in cities that it feels like summer.
Do you not think Cleveland feels like a summertime
or
vacation?
Detroit this last year? Detroit,
yeah.
It should be like Miami. It should be LA. It should be.
You need big booty bitches wherever it is. Is the kind of the litmus test? It's kind of
I mean, I'll definitely go to the event. So
if they can fit through the turnstiles, that means you shouldn't have the show. There is what I think. But
seriously,
who am I? But man, I would say Rene Dupree has a pretty big dumper on him. Speaking of which, we got La Resistance in this opening match, defending their tag team titles against the Dudley Boys. Seems like every 2003 pay-per-view is just some Dudley Boys match, but
and it starts with them too.
Always, yeah. It's just I don't know, man. I mean, it's the tag team division, as with WWE, it's very hot and cold, more cold than hot. But La Resistance, there were good heels, I guess. I don't know. Where do you stand on the patriotism based angle, like the foreign heel against the hero American? Where do you stand on that?
I loved it back in that time. Today, I'm not really sure if it works because of just the way society is today.
Right. Yeah. Not as much unity, I guess, today.
Yeah, not even that. It's just like you can't hate on things that you were able to hate on back then. So like,
Right.
remember the Un-Americans? Like that would
Mhm.
not, like, people would be offended and against that today. Although it's television and it's scripted and it's not real,
Mhm.
people would still not let it happen.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. Yeah, because every foreign person in wrestling back in '03, even, which seems late, but it still was the
Yeah.
case. You dirty foreigner. But
Yeah.
now in 2024, we're recording this a month before they go to France for a pay-per-view. And I'm sure, do you think La Resistance are going to make an appearance in France?
Maybe Sylvain, Renee, I doubt it because he has his own podcast and he rips them apart.
I mean, I think this because what you gotta have, like in Puerto Rico, they had Carlito, they had Savio Vega. You gotta have some French
Zelina.
alumni.
Yeah.
Zelina, yeah. But like, who else? What other Frenchman other than like Andre? What person that's alive today that was from France was big in wrestling?
I don't know. I know.
I feel like these are the top guys right here.
Who there's guys like who are French Canadian. That's the closest you got.
I guess. I mean, you could pull out like a PCO, maybe. Is he French? Is he like for real French?
French Canadian or something like that.
Yeah.
You got PCO, you got Kevin Owens, you got Sami Zayn.
Yeah, I guess they're just gonna have to rely on those Canadians.
Yeah. Could we just talk about though that point in time when he brought out the dog Fifi?
Oh, big Fifi. And the Fifi was always a different dog.
Yeah.
I think they're just all Fifis if they're fluffy and French.
Oh,
good
man.
Good times.
Yeah.
Well, no Fifi here, but we do have a pretty hot opening match here, honestly. Like it was, it's not like it's gonna, it's not gonna break the Meltzer star rating or anything. It's not gonna be match of the night, match of the year, whatever. But it served the purpose to get the crowd hot, and I think it did it perfectly. The Dudleys, they have all the crowd interaction spots, the waza and all that shit, and then
it's a way to get the crowd hyped up for the rest of the show.
Yeah, and the Frenchmen are easy to hate. We're fresh off of introducing Rob Conway into the folds, which I don't think they've like designated his name or anything because it was literally like the week before, which I forgot this is how he was like introduced to.
He didn't have a name.
No, he was like a serviceman, quote unquote, that was plucked from the crowd.
Yeah.
And then he was like waving the flag with the Dudleys, and then he turns on them.
Yeah.
Which I would have never seen that coming. I would have just thought that was a rogue fan that decided that.
At one point, they had him dressed like a photographer. Was it this match or was it another one?
Yes, it certainly was. Okay, Joseph. It was this match, and I was wondering where he was because he didn't come out with them.
Yeah.
But ultimately, like you said, dressed as a photographer and wipes out. I think it was Devon, hits him in the head with the camera.
Yeah.
And Sylvain makes the pin for the win. So, like I said, good match. I mean, they La Resistance, they hit their double team finishers for close near fall, and then
I used to love that finisher.
Did it have a name? Do you remember?
It did.
It's like a double spine buster type of deal.
Yeah, it was like a double choke slam. Like they would, something like that.
It's like an au revoir or some French bullshit.
It was
like that.
something French. Yeah.
Caviar.
Something.
But
Fofo Fifi, something like that.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. Actually, I think that's what it was. But any other nuggets on this one?
Not really. I just think that although like the tag team division at that point wasn't necessarily like anything, great.
Yeah.
But looking back now, I mean, like I would love to have teams like that today.
Yeah, teams that feel like teams. I mean, they're starting to build it. They're building it a little bit, but
Yeah.
Do you think they should split the tag belts?
1000%.
Yeah. If you would have asked me like a few months ago, I thought, because I've always been no on that because I didn't think they had a strong enough division for two brands to have, a good foundation. But I think they've been slowly building that up a little bit to the point where I think it could work.
Yeah. There's enough tag teams. Look at the WrestleMania card, for example. Like how many tag teams are on that show or could be on that show.
Mm-hmm.
They had like a tournament to fill spots, like all these tag teams.
Yeah. I mean, it's what, 7 teams in the match?
6 or 7.
Six or 7, and then like you said, there was a bunch of teams that were
the tag team Money in the Bank.
Yeah, exactly. And then you got like Legato and the Street. I see like the Street Profits and AOP, like they have nothing to do on SmackDown because there's no titles to fight for. So I was like, to that point, I can see. As long as we just can we get rid of the fucking color coded belts? Like that's all I ask. Make them just different designs, like it was in 03. But
yeah,
I digress. But also just one little as La Resistance, they win. They go backstage, and then the Dudleys head backstage. They're pissed, obviously. And then old Jonathan Coachman's right there, Johnny on the spot, trying to get a word with the Dudleys.
Yep.
And Dudleys actually put over La Resistance a little bit, as they're like, yeah, they fucking did what they had to do. I don't like them, but I respect it. And the coach is like, they got you, right? It's kind of like tongue in cheek. And then Bubba's like, what, you a fucking Nazi asshole or something? I'm paraphrasing. But so a little tease, maybe a little character shift, maybe perhaps with Johnny Coach, but
can't forget Spike Dudley either.
Oh yeah, he did make an appearance. What did he do? Probably nothing, right?
Probably nothing. He was the jobber of the match.
Somebody to throw around. Yeah. You got to have that, right?
Yeah.
Well, Eric Bischoff sparring backstage. Good form on those punches, right? You wouldn't want to get in his way.
No, even today, I would not.
Yeah, it was like karate is this thing, right?
Yeah, with his all black outfit.
Kicks. Like I never. I mean, he would kick my ass in like a competition. I feel like if you walk up there, even like 2003 Eric Bischoff, like at a bar, it's like,
no,
he didn't scream threatening to me,
No, not really.
Well, he has a match with Shane McMahon later tonight. Christian finds him backstage, and Christian's not on the card, and he's pretty pissed about this because he's the Intercontinental Champion, which is a sign of things to come with that championship and pay-per-views.
This was right after he cut his hair and like changed his look a little bit, right? I believe.
Yeah. What do you think? He's a pretty handsome fellow, right? I mean, he still kind of looks the same today, pretty much. He's he's got. What's that?
His physique then was massive. I didn't realize how big he was until like you see him now. Even in his like later run in WWE, he became like a smaller sized dude. Like he was jacked then.
Yeah, you never really notice it because he's always next to huge dudes.
Exactly. He was small compared to the other guys then.
He's probably he's like 6'2", I think. Like he's a big guy. Yeah. So not even like, because Christian's like, look, I'm not on the card. What gives? Eric's like, it's Stone Cold's fault, because of course it is.
Yeah.
And
DMs.
Exactly. And Christian's like, look, I got nothing to do tonight. You need help on your match, Eric? And Eric's like, don't worry, I already got a backup plan in motion, which this is a spoiler for later. But what if you had to pick somebody to be your backup in a wrestling match? Do you go Intercontinental Champion Christian, or do you go Jonathan Coachman, C Squad announcer?
That's a tough one.
It is.
Man, I gotta throw my hands up in the air on that one. I don't know. They're very their skill sets are very similar.
Pretty much the same, yeah.
Yeah, they're pretty much the same.
Similar
mic
accolades.
Skills are the same. One holds a title, so he may have baggage coming down to the ring to save me.
That's a good point. He's gonna be slower.
Yeah.
So he might not get there in time.
Exactly.
Yeah. All those pesky muscles and they might just get in the way.
But Coach holds a mic, so it could be a weapon. Right.
We're just this is why I bring you on, because you really get to the nitty-gritty details. This always has a mic on him.
Yeah.
Well, we got something a little different here. We got A-Train versus The Undertaker.
Lord Tensai.
What was his name? Sweet Tea.
Sweet Tea.
What's your favorite Matt Bloom?
I like the head of the PC trainer. That's his best role.
You mean off camera?
Yeah.
Out of sight? That's your favorite? I get it.
Honestly, I didn't love, but I was okay with the A-Train character because, like, as a kid, I despised him.
Yeah.
Like, I hated him because he was just
He's
this
like
big dude. He was scary looking. He needed to
hairy.
shave his back. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I would probably say this is arguably his peak.
Yeah.
I mean, for the love of fuck, he's facing The Undertaker in a one-on-one match at SummerSlam. Like,
And he got him at WrestleMania too.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, that was big too. But even here, like,
Yeah.
it's just him.
Yeah.
No Nathan Jones to muddy the waters or anything. And we got here because A-Train he's kind of been Vince McMahon's hired gun lately. He at Vengeance, Stephanie McMahon faced Sable, and A-Train interfered and flattened Stephanie with a running chest.
Flattened.
It was just I mean, he's a train. It's in his name. So she got derailed, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
And then Undertaker's here. He's like, hey, I think you probably shouldn't beat up women that are an eighth your size, perhaps. And then Vince McMahon's like, oh, how dare you? And then, so that's where, and Albert with Vince is confronting Undertaker. That's how we get here. But I have a clip here real quick that I just want to get your thoughts on.
Yeah.
Mr. McMahon wanted me to personally thank you for what you did to Stephanie last week. He really appreciates it. And so do I. It's the penthouse. See you later.
Yes, you will.
Oh, shit. I removed you. It was just me and A-Train's tits on screen.
That camera angle from the side really just
good, right?
Shows his definition,
Yeah, I guess you could say that.
We should have known.
When a guy has pierced nipples, and for anybody listening, by the way, Sable caressed A-Train's pectoral region, yanked it a little bit, and Mr. Albert seemed to have creamed his trunks, perhaps.
Yeah, he was looking at the hotel key.
Yeah, that was a detail that I maybe didn't need.
Yeah.
So you're walking out of here thinking about A-Train banging Sable, if nothing else. So, so
is this before she was married to Brock Lesnar or after?
It's probably like right around when they met. I would assume they're probably like, I don't know. It's probably close. Close. I don't know if if Mark Romero was still with Sable at this point, and you got Albert and Brock Lesnar going after Sable, it's like, what do you even do? But,
poor guy.
But that being said, I think Albert is, he's got the big spotlight here, and the match is pretty solid. Albert looked good. He was kind of throwing Taker around here in the beginning stretches of this match, but ultimately, Taker he makes the comeback. We get a ref gets knocked out because every fucking match I feel like it has it, but A-Train hits his derailer onto Undertaker, but a ref is just recovering, so it's only a 2 count. And then I think A-Train even like bicycle kicks the ref at some point, if I have that right, I believe. And
something like that.
This allows him to go out. He grabs a chair, but the chair gets kicked up into his face by Taker, and then Taker choke slams him for the win. So it was, like I said, it was kind of a basic match, but I mean, I didn't hate it at all.
No, it was pretty much just to set up the finish or after the post match.
What was that? Can you remind me?
So Sable gets in there. She tries to I don't know if she slapped the Undertaker or she tried to get involved or something like that.
I think she was trying to titillate him, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
Stroking his chest a little bit, maybe.
Well, I mean, she got away with it with A-Train, so she could just try it on the Undertaker.
Yeah.
Did not work. He dueled her, and out came Stephanie McMahon. And Undertaker caused a cat fight.
That was such a cool, because like you said, Taker goozled Sable, which by the way, his hand covered her whole fucking head.
He held her so she couldn't go anywhere.
Yeah, that was funny how they did that.
Yeah. By the way, side note, could we kind of say that A-Train was the original, somewhat close to Braun Strowman?
Yeah, how so?
Just the the character of like being this big jacked guy who comes out with this like remember when Apron would come out, they would hit that steam and he was like they would make it seem like he's like this big machine monster train coming at you.
Right. So you think Braun Strowman might just be the reincarnated version of A-Train?
A much
B-Train. Huh? Come on.
B-Train.
B-Train. That is
Maybe listen, I'm known to go stretch it a little bit, so it could be just one of those takes where I'm just throwing shit at the wall.
No, I mean they're big, they're hairy, there's steam, there's trains.
Yeah.
That's enough of a comparison for it to make sense in my head, at least. So I'm with you. I've never seen them both in the same room at the same time. So
I don't think I'd want
the same person. No, not in that hotel room. But well, we got some slimmer men here in this next one. We got a no disqualification falls count anywhere match between Eric Bischoff and Shane McMahon.
Wild.
Does Shane McMahon have the best like batting average and rest, like as far as like the amount of matches he's had versus how many were good? Like there's not a lot of bad Shane McMahon matches.
No, I mean he had a match with The Miz at WrestleMania, and it was talked about after.
I mean, like all the with Test and all the stuff with Big Show and Steve Blackman, even though those were like stunt show kind of things, like we still talk about it today. Yeah. The match with AJ at WrestleMania might be his best, like just wrestling match. Like,
let's not talk about last year's, but you know,
we'll talk about that.
Shortest match in WrestleMania history. I think he beat The Rock.
I think so. I was there. I think I might have been getting popcorn though. So I do think The Rock came out and Shane beat him handedly. So.
I feel like Shane McMahon was like, as a kid, he was just a really big fan of ECW, and he knew his dad was like owning a wrestling company. And Vince is like, just go out there and do whatever the hell you want. Like, pretend you're in ECW.
He did.
And he did. Until he couldn't.
Yeah. What are the odds? Because we're recording this, a few days before WrestleMania. What are the odds that Shane comes back out to avenge it last year?
Yeah. No, I hope not.
I think it's like 100% that he does.
You think?
Yeah, no. If he's, I'm assuming he's recovered.
Well, if he's back in creative, we'll know that he'll be a part of the Roman Cody match in somewhat, because he's a main event talent.
Yeah, he is the best in the world.
He's like top 4 Royal Rumble, like Final 4. Like he's just, he's that good.
Man, if we don't get Shane McMahon versus CM Punk at some point for the real best in the world, I don't know what we're doing here,
Well, I mean, the chances of both of them getting hurt are very high.
It's just the first one who gets carted off loses. It's a stretcher match, but it's like just you get injured.
Whoever needs the stretcher first, that's what it is.
Whoever has the last person with bones in their body. Well, he's a little more physically able here in 03.
Yeah.
As is Eric Bischoff. And like you see this on paper, you're like, this can't be good at all. But obviously there's
Bischoff credit.
Yeah, I mean, the smoke and mirrors are abound as they should be in this match. It would have sucked ass if this was just like a karate versus boxing match, and they're the shittiest version of both martial arts.
I love Shane's jabs.
Oh, they're devastating. But did not need him here. So we actually also an accessory to not really an accessory to this, but Kane is also in this picture here, which we'll talk more later as he faces Rob Van Dam later in the show. But Shane McMahon came back as a result of Kane tombstoning Linda McMahon on the stage.
Yeah.
And obviously her son took umbrage to this and then attacked Kane on Raw. But for whatever reason, Eric was like, hey, you're not allowed here if you're going to attack Kane. And then there was a whole thing where, because like you said, Brett Bischoff and Stone Cold are 50-50. So through a lot of hullabaloo, we ended up with this match. Also, by the way, on Raw.
Coach gets involved in that too, right?
Well, no, he didn't get involved in anything, I don't think, until this show. But Coach did just get replaced with JR a few weeks before this, which could tie in.
Okay.
It was Stone Cold's doing. So this is kind of the reason why Coach sides with Bish. We would be remiss if we didn't mention Eric Bischoff breaking into Linda McMahon's house on Raw. And, if we're going to believe Bischoff here, because he comes out for this match, he grabs the mic and he says that he fucked Linda McMahon several times.
Again, we should have saw the signs with Vince writing this.
Dude. Stuff. I'm going to throw this at you. I don't know how you think about this. I have a tougher time watching Vince McMahon on TV now than Benoit. Like, just because it's so, like, real with Vince. Like, it's just the stuff that he did, but on TV.
I can see your point, because the things that he did on TV are like what he was accused of.
Like that clip that I just played.
You're seeing it in real time.
That clip I just played, I don't know if I caught all of the scene, but he was Vince and kayfabe. Vince gave Sable to A-Train to have sex with him as a thank you.
Yeah.
Which that is way too close to home.
Yeah.
But it's rough.
Exactly.
It's rough. Nobody gets poop on their head, though, I don't think, on this show. But we got, unless I missed it, but we got they fight to the outside. It's a brawl. It is what it is.
Yeah.
And then a rogue chair shot from off camera hits Shane in the back. By God, it's Jonathan Coachman.
Jonathan Coachman. Star of the show.
The crowd. You couldn't pay this crowd to give a shit about heel Jonathan Coachman, at least not on this show.
Because think about a match with Eric Bischoff, Jonathan Coachman, and Shane McMahon.
Who wins that one?
In a street fight, nonetheless. Or whatever it is. No DQ, street fight.
Yeah.
Tables, ladders, chairs.
On a pole. In a cage. Yeah. Punjabi. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Stone Cold's out here just doing whatever the hell he wants.
Oh, yeah, I was about to, because the match starts off hot. It's silly, it's fun, and then Coach gets involved, and it just makes me laugh how the crowd just gets deflated. They're like, "Oh, this is what we're doing now."
Out of the whole roster.
And it's like, Coach, like, for what it's worth, Coach's performance was good. Like, the chair shots looked good. I'll say this. Some people throw a chair, like Hulk Hogan throw a chair, and it's like, what are you doing, pal? But Coach was laying him in there, and he was talking shit on the mic at Shane. I was like, all right. I mean, I'm into it. It's not terrible. But then old Steve comes out, Stone Cold Steve Austin. And by the way, we are in this period where Stone Cold can't beat up the wrestlers until they provoke him.
Provoke him. Yeah.
Coach notes this. He's like, I'm not touching you, like wagging his finger in front of his face. And then Shane McMahon shoves Coach into Steve. And then the ass kicking commences. Like, this is like when I mentioned before, like there's certain moments in this show that are like embedded in my brain. Like that's that moment right there specifically.
Yep.
So, and then it picks up from there. But I don't know. Overall,
I love when he's stomping a mud hole and Coach in the corner, and Coach is bouncing in the corner.
Oh, he's selling his ass off, man. He's just the mud hole is being stomped.
Yes.
And then Shane picks up a dead Eric Bischoff and takes his hand and slaps Stone Cold with it. So now I guess that allows, I don't know where in the contract, we're gonna have to review the paperwork on what provoke is, but
yeah.
And Stone Cold beats him up. I think he gives him a stunner. But Shane is not done. He because he goes for the cover and rips Eric's head up, and he's like, no, I think I got one more thing for him.
Yeah. Lays
Bish on the announce table, elbow from the top. Always a thing of beauty.
Yep.
And gets his false count anywhere. So he just pins him right there, and that's the win.
Yeah.
So overall, like I really enjoyed this. What about you?
I enjoyed it, and I think the placement of the match too was really great, because it was towards the beginning, middle of the show, but it was in a spot where it was able to get the crowd hyped up again, going into the next few matches, which were more serious, I think.
No, yeah, for sure. Yeah, I thought the show was paced very well. That's a good point. Yeah. What are your thoughts on Stone Cold and his role at this point? Because obviously he's not wrestling anymore.
Yeah.
but he's still an on-screen character, and him and Bischoff have the power struggle up top, which is kind of reminiscent to Vince and him, but it's a different situation. I don't know. What did you think about Stone Cold and his role here?
Honestly, I loved it because there were so many stories developed off of that. You know, that built to Survivor Series where it's like Team Bischoff versus Team Stone Cold, and like Stone Cold foreshadowing, he leaves. But it also showed another side of Eric Bischoff, the more comedic side, where we got with Kurt Angle when he was paired with Stone Cold. So like it went so many different ways that for me it was enjoyable. Plus, you got to see like who's going to be siding with Stone Cold, who's going to be siding with Eric Bischoff, and now like these guys hate each other because of the bosses, and it kind of it trickled down the entire roster. Like that's that particular story.
Yeah, for sure. Like the Redneck Olympics and just all the backstage shit. Like, it gave a new layer to Bischoff, and it was a good thread throughout the show to see like why matches were getting made.
Yeah,
who was making each match. It kind of it added a little bit.
And then when they did get along at times, you were like, oh wow, like what's going on here? Like, is Eric turning face, or it's maybe they see what's happening?
Keeps you on your toes. Your toes.
Yes.
We'll move over to SmackDown here. We got the United States title on the line in a fatal 4-way match. We got Eddie Guerrero, the inaugural U.S. champion, defending against Tajiri versus Rhino versus Chris Benoit.
Yeah.
Particularly, I really enjoyed the finish to this match, but overall, I thought it was what it was. 4 ways by nature are kind of clunky, and it kind of felt
especially with these guys.
Yeah, exactly. It's very like
what
strong like personality style wise. So, but I thought it worked for what it was. What do you think about it?
I enjoyed it, especially. I think this was after that. Was it after the tag team title run with Eddie and Tajiri?
Yeah. So just to lay out where we are. So Tajiri and Eddie won the tag titles at Judgment Day. Yeah, in the ladder match
earlier. That was like May after WrestleMania or so.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is okay. So they were already. Those titles were dropped, and then
and then Eddie turned on Tajiri and put him through the windshield of his lowrider. Yeah. And Eddie and Benoit, you have the obvious connection there.
Yeah, and Rhino with Chris.
Yep, and then Rhino turned on Benoit to help Eddie win the title.
Yep.
So there's a lot of webs embedded throughout all 4 of these guys. So the build up to this was good, and so that's where we're at. But you were saying
this match could have been on SmackDown. It could have been on a pay-per-view. I think them trying to elevate the U.S. title, which is what they were doing at that time, bringing it back. I was excited to see that title back.
Yeah, no, it had a good run, at least like in the first year or so.
Yeah. Definitely.
Maybe like when Orlando Jordan won it. Maybe that's when the bloom fell off the rose of it. But I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Who?
Exactly. He just debuted recently where we're at here. So this is amazing how just like he's just a guy, just a bald guy, and then he's all of a sudden in matches with Undertaker and John Cena, and
he was part of the cabinet. Did you ever see his run in TNA?
Unfortunately,
where he was like, in the caution tape and all that stuff.
The white fluid he would drip on his chest, and his feud with Rob Terry.
Yeah.
Well, when we get to that, it might be a few years before I get to that, but I'm gonna mark you down for whatever that is, whatever the fuck happened there. Probably some stupid like Clockwork Orange House of on a ladder on a pole match battle royal reverse.
Blame Bruce Pritchard.
Yeah, it's all his fault. I don't care if he wasn't there yet. But the finish comes when Tajiri, he's on the top rope. Benoit knocks him down so that Tajiri is like hanging upside down in a tree of woe. Benoit, stands above Tajiri and hits a flying headbutt onto Rhino. So he kind of leaps over Tajiri. Tajiri flips out of this tree of woe just in time to break up the pin on Rhino. And then Tajiri and Benoit take each other's out to the outside. And then Eddie picks the bones with a frog splash onto Rhino, following up the headbutt, and gets the win. So Eddie retains in a really cheeky way. I mean, they're really driving home the lie, cheat, and steal thing with Eddie at this point.
Well, he cheated to win the title to begin with, so it just continues the whole title run.
Yeah, although I don't think he really did. He cheat at all in this match?
No, he just picked the bones, like you said.
He's just a bit cheeky, I think.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, Eddie, he just introduced the lowrider like maybe a month before this. Well, I guess it was more than that. It was around when Tajiri and him were teaming.
Yeah.
But that's still pretty fresh, and just the whole like he's playing possum, throwing the chair at his opponent, and trying to get the other guy DQ'd. Like this is right in that period where that's running strong. So probably one of the best versions of Eddie is right here, I would say.
I think so. It was right after that babyface run when Chavo got hurt, and then Chavo came back. I think it was around that time.
Well, so no, we're not. So right now, Chavo's injured at this point. So that's kind of why they pivoted, I think, to give Eddie the U.S. title.
Got it. Okay.
Or that's why Tajiri was his partner, because he was a fill-in for Chavo.
Yeah.
Which I'm not crying that Chavo isn't in the picture, but it's whatever.
Yeah.
Well, after that, we got another member of the SmackDown 6 defending the WWE Championship. We got Kurt Angle versus Brock Lesnar. Whoo, man, I don't remember this match being this good.
I do. It's I think it's one of the best matches that title ever had.
I would, because like when people think of Kurt and Brock, at least me, I always think of WrestleMania. I think of the Shooting Star, all that stuff.
One of my favorite feuds ever,
dude. It's
just because
of
the matches they had. They always had good matches. That Iron Man match on SmackDown that they had.
Yeah, I think that's shortly after this.
Yeah.
And even like when the Big Show kind of interjected himself into it, like that stuff was good too. So these guys are definitely carrying SmackDown. I mean, there's a lot of good stuff on SmackDown, but these guys at the top of it, I mean, SmackDown was the bona fide best show going in WWE at this point. These two are the big reason for that.
Yeah. And Angle's going through all these neck injury. I think he was wrestling here with a broken neck at that point. Just he had come back.
Yeah.
He had come back he left after WrestleMania, came back for Vengeance, which is where he won the title from Brock and Big Show. And then this, I think, was the next pay-per-view where Brock had turned and they picked up that rivalry again.
Yeah, I think he had Band-Aids and bubblegum holding up his neck at this point.
Yeah, he was gone for like 3 months after WrestleMania with a broken neck and came back.
Yeah, came back and won the title pretty much right away.
Yeah.
But yeah, the build-up here is very interesting too, because I mean, just from a physicality standpoint, you see these two guys facing each other on paper. It's gonna be awesome. But they added a lot of layers to the story. So, like you said, they had a match at WrestleMania. Yeah. Kurt was out for a bit. Kurt comes back as a babyface. Brock's still a babyface. So they have like a natural respect for each other.
Yep.
So they become friends. They team up to face like, the Big Show and the A-Trains and all that stuff.
Yeah. That's when they got rid of Team Angle too.
Yes. Yeah. But Brock, so I forget exactly how it started. I think Brock was basically pissed. It all started at Vengeance because Kurt Angle won the title from Brock.
Yeah.
So naturally that'll start the animosity, and then there's various like things on SmackDown where Brock thinks Kurt attacked him, but it wasn't. It was like somebody else, and then like just like the distrust is kind of building between Brock and Kurt, and then this all comes to a head when
that's still cage match.
Brock Lesnar versus Vince McMahon on SmackDown. Do you remember that cage match and what happened?
It was amazing.
Did you see it coming?
At the time, no. I should have. But I think I was like 10 or 11 years old.
Well, Brock was just so hot at that point. You couldn't imagine him just being this, although it makes sense, this big bastard being the bad guy.
Yeah.
So Brock and Vince are facing each other in the cage.
Very Stone Cold Rock Vince-esque vibe there. Like,
good call.
Like corporate Rock being turned on by Vince. Team with the enemy. Corporate Brock.
That's what Brock needed. He needed the tracksuit.
Yep.
Because they did an angle on SmackDown where Brock was attacked backstage, but we didn't see it. He was just laid out, and then he had a concussion, and he passed out in the match.
Yep.
Kurt was reffing this match, by the way, and as Kurt is checking on Brock, or he's like looking away for a second to get the medical team in there, he kips up. Brock does. It was all a ruse.
Yep.
And then they team up to beat down Kurt in the cage, and thus turning Brock Lesnar heel.
Yeah.
So Brock, like you said, is kind of another one of Vince's like weapons of destruction. I don't know. There's a lot of story going here on top of, what could just be like a straight up wrestling match. Do you think all that story enhances this match, or do you think it like gets in the way of it at all?
I guess it enhances it a little bit. Did it need it? No, because this like the match itself was spectacular. Does a story add to it? Yeah, it didn't need it.
Yeah,
I mean, the story was needed if you wanted to accomplish what they did after the match.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I think it definitely, because like you can just compare this to the WrestleMania match, and while the WrestleMania match is good, barring the botch at the end, this match just had a little extra something to it, like especially the finish and how hype it was. Like
and people were expecting the match to be like that one, which is why they enhanced the story on this.
Yeah. And ultimately Brock being the heel, just doing whatever he wants, tossing guys around. It just makes sense, so.
He tapped in this one, right? He tapped out.
He tapped a few times. He tapped once when the referee was unconscious, as they always are. And then once for the finish. But I mean, on the way there, the beginning, you have Kurt getting overpowered by Brock, and then Kurt out wrestling Brock. Yeah, exactly. He's like he's like learning, he's using his skills to get the upper hand here. And then Brock's going ballistic. So he's kind of becoming a little unhinged at this point.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, this match, I mean, everything felt like it had impact in this match. Like there was intent behind every like strike. All the suplexes felt like they just hit. It was just it was a beautiful thing to watch. What'd you think?
For me, this? It was peak Brock, and I don't know about Angle. Maybe peak Angle in his. I don't know. I love the Wrestling Machine Kurt Angle too. At that, I think 2006. So this was just, I don't know. I loved it.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with these two.
Yeah,
no matter what.
This match to me was the most memorable thing of that show.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's a match that if anybody wants to watch one match from this show, it'd be this one for sure.
And then that post match with the chair, the Kurt Angle slamming him, Vince through the chair, flattening that chair. I'll never forget how quick that chair snapped.
Yeah, say what you want about Vince, but if he was like involved in the story, like it just made who was involved, it just amplified it.
Yep.
But there was just like the finishing stretch to this was so like it was so good. Because like Brock's throwing Kurt around, he goes for the F5. Kurt counters it into a DDT, which was beautiful.
Yeah.
Angle hits the Angle slam for a 2 count. Angle locks in this like upside down figure 4 around the neck, which it didn't seem like that was the plan, but he made it work. But he like transitions into it seamlessly into an ankle lock, which like just a lot of stuff like that. It was just very smooth. This match was I would say.
Yeah.
Referee's down at some point. Brock taps to the ankle lock, but there's no ref. So Vince McMahon comes out there, chair shot to the back of Kurt, and this allows Brock to get up, but he's still selling the ankle lock. So he hits a one-legged F5, which was impressive as hell. Like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Kurt is not a small man. And then Brock goes for another F5, but Kurt counters this into an ankle lock. And then Brock, I love how because Brock tries to go to every side of the ring to grab the ropes.
Yep.
While Vince is like urging him on. Like Vince is running around the ring. Get up, Brock. Yeah. Brock. And
if you win, I'll give you Sable. That's how they met.
Take a number. So maybe that's how they met. Yeah. Maybe that's how they met. But yeah, just a very grueling finish.
Yeah. To
what was an ultimately pretty grueling match. And then Brock taps out eventually, which was unprecedented at this point.
I don't think he had ever tapped out to that point.
No, not at all. And so Kurt retains. And I mean, yeah, like we said, just incredible match.
Yeah.
Do you think, because I was thinking watching this, who would you say is Mr. SummerSlam? Because like everybody says Shawn Michaels is Mr. WrestleMania. I feel like you can make a case for either of these guys.
I did a poll on this a while ago.
Yeah, that's my where I saw it.
I think from what people chose, I think it was Brock. I would definitely say Brock is up there. You have a case between Brock. You could throw Undertaker up there. A lot of people say Randy.
Sure. Yeah.
Man, I don't know. I would probably say Brock. Most of his biggest moments have been. I don't think he's ever had a small match. He's never had a small match in his career, period. But he never had a small match on SummerSlam.
Yeah, because he won the title the year before against The Rock.
Yeah.
That recent match with Roman. He beat Cena. Oh yeah, that's right. Suplex City was SummerSlam.
Yeah. Didn't he beat The Undertaker at SummerSlam too?
Yeah.
At one point?
Was the famous GIF where the ha 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 messed it up. The tractor picking up the ring was at SummerSlam against Roman Reigns.
Cowboy Brock.
He had a couple good matches against Roman at SummerSlam, but one against Seth, I think.
Yeah, I think he lost that. Did he win that or lose that?
I don't remember, but there were good performances, whatever the case was. And Kurt's had a lot of good. I mean, his match with Stone Cold at 01 is maybe his best match ever. It would be if there was a finish to it. It was like a DQ bullshit, but yeah, both these guys just they're ready to party at the biggest party of the summer. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They brought
another thing too. We were talking about with SummerSlam and how it should be in like summer cities, like biggest party of the summer in Cleveland. Like what the hell? What?
Yeah, and that's not even. I just recently covered the '95 SummerSlam that was also in Cleveland. So it's like they did it once and they're like, you know what? I think we should do this again. We should run this back.
Yeah,
but whatever. Hey, do you remember? Was this Jamie Nope? Is that what her name was from the Diva Search?
Jamie Nope.
What? I might be pronouncing it wrong. Let me, because they showed her real quickly in the crowd and she looked very uncomfortable. Divas.
I remember, obviously Ashley Massaro, Christy Hemme, Joy Giovanni.
Jamie, Koeppe. Cope?
No idea.
Don't know. Let's see what she did. Well, she retired from wrestling in 2005. Doesn't seem like she really did anything. I guess Diva Search at this point was probably just based on aesthetics. So
was this the one that they did the volleyball thing?
Let me see if I can. How do I share my screen?
Or was that the year? Huh. It might have been this year.
You see my screen here?
Yeah.
Ring any bells?
I don't remember her.
Let's see. I don't know. Let's do our research. No. Yeah, I don't know. Well, maybe in a different life she would have been a big deal.
What about her?
Well, that sets the stage for a no holds barred match between Kane and Rob Van Dam. So, well, first of all, we had a no DQ match earlier.
Yeah.
But now we have a no holds barred match. Yeah. Remind me, what's the difference?
The name.
Well, are there holds that are barred in a no DQ match?
I don't think so.
We'll have to conduct the rule book, I guess.
Yeah. Fact check that.
Well, Kane's here. He's unmasked. He's ugly. So we're fresh off of him unmasking. It was in May, and we're here in August. But I don't think there's been a
question about
since.
Kane. Let me ask you this. I don't know if you probably thought about it too. Why was his head half shaved
when he first unmasked?
Yeah,
I think that's. Do
we know that? And then he kept it like that throughout the entire period of him not having like that era of Kane until he went to like just the tights. He had half of his head shaved.
Are you talking about like in this match, like how it was like buzz cutted?
Yeah, it was buzz cut, but like half of his head was buzz cut.
Oh, I didn't know. I thought you were talking about like when he first unmasked and he had like the actual hair on his head. I don't know. I didn't really. I think it made him look a little creepier for whatever reason.
I never understood it. I was like, why wouldn't you just like finish the rest.
Finish the story. Is that his story? Yeah, I don't know. I never really I don't know, maybe he just was self-conscious about his head.
I don't know. I always thought that it was from the mat, like the hair he had with the mask, because that's the only part of his head that would show.
Right.
But I don't know. I don't know.
Well, we'll have to ask Glenn about that. Yeah. So I mean,
when you go to the polls to vote, you can ask him.
This man is setting people on fire. He's pile driving old ladies on steel grates.
How did Shane McMahon have kids after dealing with Kane?
Look, I haven't checked up on his kids recently, but I would guess
they're football stars, his kids. But Kane, like really, like he would electrocute every area of your body, the important ones, you know.
Some people are into that, man. I don't think we should kink shame. So.
Pyro and all this. Kane was a.
Do you think he had a run at Sable too?
No, he got Lita.
Oh, that's right. And there was just a lot of sexual assault just on TV. Just, hey, watch me have my way with this woman, folks.
He got Lita pregnant, remember?
But then Lita was like, never. I think I do love you, actually.
Yeah.
Everybody deserves a second chance.
That might have been a crime. I'm not even sure at this point. Like,
you think raping a lady and making her pregnant's a crime, Joe? I don't know. I'm not a lawyer, but I think he might be right.
Yeah,
he might be right.
Yeah,
we had Eric Bischoff doing it to Linda earlier. These are just the ones I remember.
Again, we should have known.
We should have known.
Yeah,
we should have known.
We know now.
Well, anyways, people are on fire. So Kane goes on a tirade after unmasking. He's I mean, what a fucking character shift. He went from just like curtain jerking and pre-show matches to being here in a co-main event.
I love this tag team, by the way, when they were a tag team.
Oh yeah, they were great.
Yeah,
they were great, and you know, it just made the breakup all that much more sour because they were the best of friends, and Rob was like trying to make him a human, and he was having to have feelings, and then but Kane doesn't think that Rob knows his pain. It's a whole thing.
Yeah. I mean, I'd be mad too if I looked like that.
What'd you think of his presentation, Kane, with like coming to Raw in shackles, like in the back of a cop car and having the
I think he
towel
was
on his
ripping
head?
off Dominic Mysterio's future, is what I think.
Wow. You know what? That's a good point. That's a good point. They are kind of the same.
No, honestly, I think that it's different to look at it now as a like a full man.
Yeah.
Than being like 10 years old, 11 years old. Like for a kid, I think it was frightening. Like to see this, like because you didn't know like what the hell was going on. Why is this guy coming out like that? Why is he like he's whatever. Mm-hmm. Now I look back and I'm like, wow, like it actually made sense.
Yeah, I remember being terrified of this version of Kane.
Yeah,
I mean, it was it's what they're going for, and like you said, the shackles and everything. It was you weren't seeing this kind of this presentation of anybody at this point, and the fact that Kane was just a fun-loving monster just a few months before this, and then he just shifts like that. It was great shit.
Yeah, and if you think back too, like when Kane came back to that huge reception he got, I think that was 2002. So it was only like a year or so before that it came back to that big pop. So it wasn't that far off.
Do you think Katie Vick killed off the Kane mystique a little bit? Because that was after he returned.
Yeah, that's when it started to. That's when they knew they needed to change Kane.
Dude, some things in wrestling, like they're not as bad as you think they are. Like when you watch them back, but Katie Vick is every bit of terrible. If you go back and I mean, it is just like you said, we should have known. We should have known.
Just right in this crap.
I mean, good Lord. It's I don't know, man. But that being said, this match was fucking awesome. I thought it felt like a fight. It felt like a street fight. there's ladders and chairs getting involved, and Rob
Very
Van
odd
Dam's,
though to see two like extreme type matches on a show like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess in theory, though, a Kane versus RVD match is a bit different than Bischoff versus Shane McMahon.
Yeah.
You would think. But no, that's a good point, though. I mean, they're very, at least make one like a cage match or one like a Punjabi prison or a buried alive or something. I don't know. But yeah, they involve some different things. Like, I mean, some of the chair shots and the ladder was kind of random, but I was all about it. I don't know. What'd you think about this one? I really enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it. I think like again, going back to the placement of the card or of that whole show.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I was kind of like at this point in the show, I'm kind of tired a little bit. I'm just like, really hyped for towards the beginning of the show. You have that match with Stone Cold, Eric Bischoff, and Shane, and then you have that great match with Brock and Kurt Angle. Now you're getting to like the the more serious stuff at the end of the show, and you're kind of like your energy's wearing down. This kind of was what everybody knew it would be. This match, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like in no world, even in the pro wrestling world, would Rob Van Dam take out Kane. This Kane, at least.
Yeah, I mean, he tried to bring all of his ECW stuff, the Van Daminator, the Van Terminator, Rolling Thunder on the chair. Yeah, exactly. Rob hits him with the Van Dam. So I'm always confused, like, what's a Van Daminator and what's a Van Terminator? I think the Van Daminator is when he just kicks the guy, like, in front of him with the chair, right? And then the Van Terminator is the coast to coast.
Honestly, I have no idea what the names are. All I know is that when that happens, in my head, I hear, "Oh my God!" That's all I hear in my head. That's Joey Styles screaming. I don't know the names. I just hear Joey Styles screaming.
He would know. We need to call him up.
Yeah. What is he doing nowadays?
Probably nothing. As he should be. But
he has a podcast talking about wrestling.
I think he's the only guy without a podcast. But he might have one. I haven't really researched it. But yeah, so Rob hits the Rolling Thunder on the chair, Van Daminator with the chair, but goes for the coast to coast with the chair, sends the chair like flying into the cameraman, but it misses Kane. And Rob goes for a plancha on the outside, but Kane catches him and tombstones him on the steel steps.
Yep.
Rolls him in the ring. 1, 2, 3. And ultimately, I mean, Kane felt like a monster in this match was my main takeaway. So for that reason,
and he stopped kind of using the choke slam as the finish, and more now it was the tombstone. Like it was a different aura of Kane. I enjoyed it. Scared to death.
Super finisher. Yeah.
Super finisher. Exactly.
But yeah, we're just getting off to the races with Kane. This is before the electrocuting the balls and throwing, the dumpster fires and the whatever the hell, the ambulance match, which is fucking awesome.
Yeah.
But after that, we're at the main event, folks. We got a little elimination chamber match on our hands here for the World Heavyweight Championship. The champion, Triple H, is defending against Kevin Nash, Goldberg, Chris Jericho, Shawn Michaels, and Randy Orton. Randy in his first world title match here at SummerSlam. I think it's his first match as a singles guy on pay-per-view. I could be wrong on that, but so the first thing I think of watching this, I kind of miss when the Elimination Chamber was like a thing to be feared. Like when it was just, it had the mystique about it. Now it's just like, oh, it's February. Now let's get some pods together. We're going to see who's number one contender or whatever.
Yeah. This is when they were able to do damage inside of it.
Oh yeah. They didn't have the padded floors. It was just grittier. I don't know. Do you prefer this style of chamber?
I do. I think it was it felt more like underground, like dirty and like down to like just a fight, like a brawl, like no rules. Like it really felt like what it was supposed to be, like just the devil's playground. Like
you're gonna need a tetanus shot when you come out of it.
Yeah, maybe.
Or chlamydia medication, something.
Maybe so. With all these guys, breaking into houses and doing things to women, behind closed doors. You never know.
Somebody's gonna slip one in this match. It's bound to happen.
This match was so odd to me.
Why is that?
Because I never, SummerSlam, you never think to have an elimination chamber match.
Mm-hmm.
Because I believe this was the second one they had. The first one was Survivor Series 02. So this was the second one. And when they announced it was going to be Elimination Chamber, I was like, oh my God, yeah, I'm so excited for it. But then, you kind of knew what was happening with Evolution, backing Triple H. Goldberg was there. Everybody expected him to win. Kevin Nash lost 25 years with that haircut and blonde hair he had. I don't know if you remember that. He walked into that match with blonde hair and shaved. I don't know what was happening.
I don't know why it had to be bleached. I understand it was for a movie, but why couldn't he just have the hair color he had? I don't know.
It was,
the longest
he was
yard
dyeing
or some
it,
shit.
and it was white.
Well, it pissed because so they had the hair versus hair match, Nash and Jericho on Raw.
Yeah.
But Nash bleached it before he cut it. It's why bother going through the trouble of bleaching your hair if it's just going to get cut off? Yeah. I don't. Maybe it makes it more visually. Yeah. I don't know. But yeah, he lost the hair versus hair match and lost, a reasonable chunk of his hair, I guess.
Kevin Nash, when he came back, was one of my favorite guys. I loved the Jackknife Powerbomb. Really? I loved his whole thing with going after Triple H, and they were friends, but he was not really his friend. It was partnered with Shawn Michaels, and it was a trio best friend group that they were breaking up, and every shot he had at Triple H, he lost, and I just lost faith in him.
Yeah, Nash actually, because I've recently watched these matches, the Hell in a Cell match and the Judgment Day match. He had some pretty good matches with Triple H.
He did. Judgment Day was fantastic, and the way it ended, putting him through the announce table, he looked like he was going to beat him. And then they had that thing at Backlash earlier in that year.
I mean, genuinely, probably the highlight of this run for Triple H as champion. So there's Scott Steiner, there's the Booker T match.
Yeah, another one Triple H should have lost.
Yeah, I mean, that match sucked an egg regardless, but then because he's injured here, Triple H is. That's why he's debuting the biker shorts look here, which I didn't know at the time it was due to his groin injury. But
I didn't know either. I was like, why is he wearing this weird outfit? It was weird.
Weird addition. I'm looking up. I'm wondering, is this Nash's last match here?
I don't think so. It was towards the end.
Wikipedia, it says, he might appear on Raw or something after this, but I think this is definitely his last significant thing he does with the WWE at this point.
I don't even remember him leaving. Did he lose? Did he have a loser leaves something match, or he just disappeared?
I don't know. I think he just faded off into the sunset. It says he went to get neck surgery after this. I don't know if that was immediately after this or what, but because I know he was filming movies at this point, so maybe
I think it was The Longest Yard, right?
Yeah. So, but yeah, so that's where we're at with Nash. He has a good little moment here in this match, but
this is where Goldberg just kills everybody, right?
Yeah, this match is pretty much
Goldberg pulled a Shayna Baszler.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's very similar. It's just this cage. All these guys are just here so Goldberg can come out looking like a monster. And to be fair, I think it was successful. I think it was the best Goldberg had looked.
Yeah,
probably in this entire run, honestly, this era of his run.
Yep.
There's not too much to the match, honestly.
This is where he
Goldberg gets in.
He speared the shit out of Shawn Michaels.
Yeah, well, he spears Jericho. A lot of people. Yeah. So
I think Jericho went through the pod. One of them went through the pod. I think it was Jericho.
Yeah, I'll make sure. Let's see. Just so I have my order here. Because the beginning parts of this match, because Goldberg, I think, is he the last one out? Or the fifth one out? Or the third one out?
He's the fifth. Triple H is the last. I think started.
Triple H actually comes out first, but he gets super kicked right away, so he gets knocked into his pod.
And then they close the pod. Ric Flair closes the pod for him, right? Holds it closed.
So Shawn Michaels gives a sweet chin music to Nash, and this allows Jericho to roll up Nash to eliminate him. So Nash is actually the first one eliminated.
Yeah.
But before Nash leaves, he gives a jackknife to Jericho and a jackknife to Orton.
Yep.
Just looking like a beast. I think that was pretty much his curtain call.
Yeah.
So he had that little moment there, but he's out. And then Goldberg comes in. Now everybody's in the match. Spear to Orton, eliminates him, and then finds Jericho, tosses Jericho from the ring into the chamber wall, and then spears him through the glass of the chamber pod, which is the first time that's happened, I believe. Did anybody go through the glass in the first? I think Kane went maybe chokeslam somebody through. I don't remember.
I don't know this. I remember this spear being like nuts. Like he speared him through it. Like
yeah, it was.
It didn't even break. It just popped out of the frame. Like it just.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's like this is not glass that's meant to be. Like nowadays, like every year somebody goes through the glass, but it's like the barricade spot. They're like meant to fall over now.
Yeah.
But this was bulletproof glass, but not Goldberg proof glass.
Bulletproof plexiglass.
Not Jew proof. So we got so he spears Jericho through the glass, gets in the ring. Shawn Michaels goes for the sweet chin music on Goldberg, but Goldberg ducks it, spears Shawn, jackhammer, you're gone. Hey, Jericho, you're over there. Spear, jackhammer, see you later.
Yep.
And now it's just Goldberg and Triple H.
Yep.
What everybody pretty much, like you said, it was pretty much a foregone conclusion that was going to be one of these two. I think everybody probably thought Goldberg was going to win.
Yeah.
Flair shuts the door on the pod to try to keep Goldberg away from Triple H. But in a really badass visual, Goldberg kicks the glass down, kicks right through it, yanks Trips out of there, and beats him a little bit. But like I said, like Triple H is injured at this point, so they
this
don't really
like
have
a 2 or 3 minute match after that. Like
it
wasn't anything.
It's funny knowing that in hindsight, because watching this live, I didn't know.
I didn't know either.
Watch it. Because Triple H comes out second to last, but he just gets kicked right away and he takes a nap for a little bit. And then Goldberg, when it's just them two, it's pretty much just like you said, like a minute or two.
Yeah.
Until
sledgehammer, spear, sledgehammer, connect face.
Oh, Nate slides in the sledgehammer. Thank God Triple H's weapon of choice is one that can fit through chain link.
Yeah.
But he cracks Goldberg in the head with it as he's coming in for a spear. And gets the 1, 2, 3, just like that.
Yep.
The streak is over again for Goldberg. Gets his first loss since coming back, and Triple H retains. He's injured, but we're keeping the title on him, I guess.
I hated that finish. I was looking forward to Goldberg winning, and they set it up as if he was going to.
Mm-hmm. But then he just won. He won like the next pay-per-view, didn't he? Wasn't like a triple threat match with Kane and Triple H?
No, that's when he lost it. So he won it at Unforgiven against Triple H 1-on-1. Unforgiven is where the whole spot with Shane jumping off onto Kane off the top of the thing. Mm-hmm. And then Armageddon, the last pay-per-view, was when Triple H won it from beating Goldberg and Kane, and that's when Evolution had all the gold on the stage.
Right. Yeah. Man.
So it took him like the whole year to get to get it back. I don't know. It was a weird, funky story.
We know it's interesting because I was watching all the Raws and stuff leading up to this, and this was originally billed as just Goldberg versus Triple H, like in a one-on-one match.
And then Orton kept getting involved, and everybody kept getting involved. And,
Well, I guess because I think the injury happened to Triple H on a house show or something, so I think maybe they pivoted.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, these guys can't just have a one-on-one match. We need some smoke and mirrors. Let's make it a chamber match. We'll throw in 5 other guys. It'll be
Kevin
fine.
Nash was feuding with Jericho at the time.
Yeah, but they could have easily just had like the hair versus hair match. They could have just had it on the pay-per-view. You know what I mean? And then Jericho was like, he could throw him wherever, and Orton didn't need to be in the match. So
yeah,
it was definitely kind of just put together last minute, it felt like.
Yeah, I don't know what Shawn Michaels was. I think this is still when Shawn Michaels was chasing Triple H. I don't know.
What was Shawn doing? He was kind of involved with Jericho a little bit still. I don't know. They were all kind of involved with each other. It probably would have been like Shawn versus Orton. If
maybe
this chamber match didn't happen.
Yeah, because that Shawn and Orton was Unforgiven, I believe.
Okay. So yeah, they probably would just.
Yeah.
done it a little bit earlier, but whatever the case is, Triple H wins, lol, and this reign continues for the game.
Yep.
What'd you think? I mean, him, Evolution, like all that presentation, all that stuff.
It.
I mean, you were a fan of it?
I loved it. Honestly, it didn't go on for as long as it felt like it did.
Yeah, no.
It felt like it was years and years, and it was only a couple.
Yeah, I don't even think it was 2 years.
It was like 02 to 04, right?
It was after SummerSlam 04, so it wasn't even the full 04. So and Orton and Batista were both injured for a while in the beginning. So yeah, they were only like a unit for like a year tops.
Yeah.
So yeah, but they made their impact, I guess.
Yeah, I loved it. I loved Evolution. Hopefully, we get to see them go into the Hall of Fame as a group. At some
Are they
point.
not already?
No. Well,
I'm thinking
Triple H is in with DX.
Mm-hmm.
Batista, I don't know.
I think Batista's in.
He was supposed to be in 2020, and then his schedule doesn't add up. So like it's been like 4 or 5 years. Yeah, it's 4 years now. He's not in. He was supposed to headline the 2020 class. He never did.
Well, is he inducted, or is he in the Hall of Fame, but he just wasn't inducted?
No, I don't think he was.
Interesting.
Ric Flair's in like 2 or 3 times. And maybe they'll wait till Orton's retired to do it.
I think RK Bro is going to get inducted as a unit first, though.
Oh, absolutely. They deserve it.
Yeah,
Matt Riddle is top 5 of all time.
I think so.
Best shoes in the game.
Well, this match was a shoe-in for a great SummerSlam. Where do you rank the SummerSlam in terms of like all the SummerSlams that have happened? Like one of the best, middle, top 5?
It was definitely stronger because the stories were stronger. You had obviously, the Kane and RVD stuff, the back and forth with Stone Cold and Bischoff, Shane getting involved, of course, Brock and Angle. The world title picture was exploding. Everybody going after Triple H. It's not one of my favorites. I'll say that. But it definitely was. I don't know. 2002 SummerSlam was my favorite pay-per-view of all time, like I told you, and like that pay-per-view. Just because it's my favorite doesn't mean that it is one of the greatest pay-per-views of all time, outside of my opinion. So to compare it to another SummerSlam, you really can't. But can we talk about the poster for that show? Do you remember the poster for that show?
I don't know. Why don't you remind me? Why don't you draw it for me? Or reenact it, maybe? You have belts over there. You could put your belts over your nips. And
Sable was everywhere. Put it that way.
Can't blame them. Can't blame them. She was everywhere. She was in Albert's hotel room. Yeah. She was in Vince McMahon's office. I mean,
trying to get with Undertaker. I don't know what that was going on.
She was a mover and shaker, this Rena Mero. But well, that brings SummerSlam 03 to a close. Any other thoughts? I mean, I think we covered it all, right?
Yeah, I think, it's one of those more so very
It's like, to your point, like, this isn't, like, if somebody asked me what my favorite SummerSlam is, I would never say 03.
Yeah.
But, like, in rewatching this, like, this was a very good show, I thought. Like I said, well-paced. Kurt and Brock.
That was the highlight.
I mean, Jiminy Crickets, that was a hoot. But speaking of hoots, got a hoot right here. Appreciate you once again, Joey, for coming on the show, talking some wrestling. Where can everybody find you and listen to you and watch you and grab your nipples like Sable grabbed A-Trains?
Of course. I appreciate you asking me to come back. It's been a while since we did something together, and I missed you, buddy.
I missed you too. Kiss me.
Yeah.
Kiss me in my mouth.
Kiss you the phone. No, everybody can follow me at The Angle Joey on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. I'm everywhere. My favorite platform now is Instagram, so that's the best place to find me and talk to me. I host a podcast, The Angle Podcast, and I drop videos every week on YouTube. Very inconsistent schedule. I drop just whenever I want to, multiple times a week. Actually, I post every day on all those platforms besides YouTube. So, yeah.
Big on the TikTok.
Big into you too, man. I see your clips. I see I see you
please.
blowing up.
Please
I see you.
Sometimes I'm trying to be you.
Scrolling through my For You page, and then I see a clip of some wrestling from 100 years ago, and I'm like, I'm watching it for like a minute, and I'm like, oh my god, Apron, what?
My wife sent me a meme the other day, as if it was, I don't remember what it was, but she sends me shit all the time. I'm like, do you see what account that is? It wasn't like my face or anything, but it was just some clip of something. But I don't know.
I love, by the way, you know, I'm like, I tell people this all the time. I'm always watching. I know what everybody's doing in the wrestling thing that we do.
Mm-hmm.
I watch everybody's stuff. Not to like take. I'm not like other creators, you know, where I take ideas from people. I know a few of those.
There's none of those. What are you talking about?
But no, I like to see what people are doing because, like, I love what we do. I love what I do, and I love to see the different niches that people create for themselves. And like what I see you doing with like taking the main event and putting different people in, like the things that you do, your little series that you do. I think it's so freaking interesting.
Oh, and thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Creative as hell.
Oh man, appreciate it. Yeah, no, I'm following your footsteps, man. I see you on there, walking through the park, talking wrestling, talking to the birds,
walking through the park. Someone asked me,
nobody's like in public talking wrestling.
Yeah.
It's
where are you? You know, someone commented and they guessed where I was, and I was like, I have to change spots now. Like I had to be someone local, and I was like, oh, new spot.
What do you? Those people that like see a picture of like dirt and they know like where in the world it is. Like, they're doing that to you. They're gonna find you.
Now I'm just constantly changing my spots. I do that for a reason, by the way. I could tell you off camera, but there's a reason.
No. Where are you gonna be tomorrow? Longitude and latitude.
I can tell you where I'm gonna be on Wednesday. I'm gonna be in
Where's
Philly.
that? Oh. Yeah. What you doing there?
Fun stuff there.
Playing a little. What do people do in Philly? I already said cheesesteaks. Yeah, I think it's all there is, right?
Yeah, there's some like sporting event. I don't know. It's like all week.
Phillies.
Yeah, could be.
It's opening week, right?
Yeah, a lot of stuff going on over there. You know.
Yeah, man.
Should get that Rocky Steps content, all that stuff. Maybe that's where I'll walk next.
Have you ever been to Philly?
I have.
Have you done the Rocky Steps?
Yeah, I've been there a few times. I've done all that, but now it's different, you know? WrestleMania.
Yeah. Man, that's going to be a...
Maybe I have to stay away from that because all the little creator junkies are going to be around there.
I was about to say, like, it was pretty crowded when I went, and it was just kind of like a random weekend. I can't imagine WrestleMania, like those steps and all the... It'll be a good people watching time, that's for sure.
That's what I might have to film, what people are doing there, because... Yeah, but I got some good ideas lined up. It's gonna be fun.
Oh yeah, buddy. Fun stuff. Yeah, you think you're watching everybody, but really everybody's watching you and where you are. They're in the trees.
Yeah. Which park is he in today?
Like
Mr. Rogers.
Once again, thank you to Joey from the Angle Podcast for joining me on this show. Always a good time with my boy Joe. Go check him out wherever you listen to podcasts, on YouTube, on TikTok, on Facebook, on MySpace. Scruff. I heard the name. I heard the app Scruff the other day. I think it's another gay dating site. Not that I would know, but do that. And I feel like sunglasses never fit me. If you're not watching on YouTube, I am wearing sunglasses, you know, as per the Summerslam. Trying to get in the mood for summer here in early April. I feel like my big ass head. I gotta get Asian fit sunglasses, although I don't think they're allowed to call them that anymore because I have a little pan face. See that? So I'm only 33% Asian, but I got, you know, like I'm tall, I'm bad at math. Like I there's some stereotypes that I don't have, but boy, do I have a small nose and a tiny Tiny wiener. So with that, I think I'll love you. I'll leave you. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Love you, love you, love you. Hey, guess what? I'm hard.
Yeah. And the hardest, talk around and disregard it. Strip you off the ground, show you what heart is. Standing strong and proud, nothing can knock it. Let's get it started. It's the hardest, talk around and disregard it. Strip you off the ground, show you what heart is. Standing strong and proud, nothing can knock it. Let's get it started.